Hey guys, Al DeMarco here, and for Wednesday I have a special buy one handicapper, get one free promotion with a twist. I'll get to those details in just a moment, plus a couple of free picks and a rundown of who's hot and who's not. Listen, I wanted to touch on something that I wrote about on the website yesterday, but I realized not everybody went to my page and happened to look at it. But listen, guys, one thing that I want to emphasize to you, and something that you always keep in the back of your mind, because it applies to the NBA and baseball only. When I was a reporter, one thing that influenced me in terms of being a gambler was the fact of how a team performed after a managerial change in baseball and a coaching change in the NBA. When you're in the locker room the day after or the day of one of those types of moves, when there's been a change in the regime in the front office in terms of on the field or on the court, it's amazing. It's like a black cloud has disappeared. Because what happens, a breath of fresh air takes over the clubhouse or takes over the dugout. Guys that had been in the doghouse under the previous coach, the previous manager, suddenly they get a get out of jail free card. Guys, especially veteran players, who are often the most disgruntled before a managerial or coaching change because they don't like the head guy, their minutes have been affected, etc. They suddenly have a new outlook on life. And what I learned is seeing what happens in those situations, you always jump on those teams. And I've talked about it many, many times in baseball where it's just so easy to win money. It's my new manager theory. Just jump on that team. They may not win tonight, but I almost would guarantee you within the first 3 games of a coaching change, they're going to win a game and then go on a little mini winning streak. And the same thing happens in the NBA. Is it 100% foolproof? Of course not. Is it something that I absolutely believe in all my years of doing this and have consistently made money doing so? You better believe it. Look in the NBA this season. We've had 2 coaching changes. The Nets got rid of Avery Johnson. What was the big knock on Avery Johnson? He just couldn't communicate with players, especially veterans. They got tired of hearing him. That has always been the knock against him. They bring in P.J. Carlesimo as the interim head coach. Boom, suddenly the Nets go on this incredible run. What have they won? 11 out of 13 straight up, and I think they've covered 7 of their last 9. Look what happened with Milwaukee. Scott Skiles shown the door a couple of weeks ago. Scott Skiles, good coach, okay? But he's one of these taskmaster guys, okay? You know, that message with him constantly grinding you, constantly on your ass, that wears out real fast, especially in this day of the players where they rule the roost. You know, they don't want to, they can tune out a coach and a manager just like that. So they promote the assistant coach, Jim Boylan, who the Bucks then go 6-2 straight up and against the spread, and it's the reason why I used Milwaukee last night as my best bet against Philadelphia. So these are just a couple of things you always have to just keep in mind and remember. Now, it doesn't come into play in the NFL or in college sports. Never does. In the NFL, because generally when there is a coaching change, mid-season, whatever, basically the entire roster knows that doom is forthcoming because a new coach generally means that 40% of that roster is going to get turned over. And for an NFL team to make a coaching change anytime during the season, you know things have already hit rock bottom. In college sports, college football and college basketball, you'll see the occasional, in-season coaching move. But again, the team is already so bad, that's the move that necessitated the change. And the college players, they're not playing for a contract. They may be playing for their scholarship, but to them, if they're in the midst of a losing season, a new voice at the helm isn't going to make any difference. Plus, the other thing that works against the coaching managerial changes in the NFL and the college basketball and college football ranks is the lack of games. You need quantity of games. Thus, that's what you have in the NBA and baseball. So it's just something to keep in mind. The other thing, of course, which I've told you many times, and the other reason I went against Philadelphia last night, listen, guys, I've seen it, man. When you have an NBA team playing the second game in 2 nights, the third game in 4 nights, especially when those games are somehow either all on the road or a mixture of home and away games, you got to go against a team. And such was the case last night in my thought process in going against the 76ers, who have now lost 8 consecutive games, the second of back-to-back games, 8 in a row since early December, by an average margin of 10 points a game. And they're 2-9 ATS in such situations on the season. So anyway, there's your advice for today. Let me talk about a couple of the hot handicappers here at the site. There is nobody hotter at the site than Scott Delaney, guys. That is for damn sure. Scott Delaney, yeah, he's going for winning day number 11 out of 15 today, but the fact is he has won 35 of the last 54 winning day, or excuse me, 35 of the last 54 days he's won in that 54-day stretch. So we're talking almost a week shy of 2 months. $10 bettors in all sports combined have won $6,405. Short term, how about this? Past 29 days, 1 month, those $10 bettors have won over $4,600. The past 2 weeks, last 14 days, right? 10 of which we have been winning days, they've won over $2,900. And tonight, 59 winner number 5 in a row is Pac-12 Game of the Year. It's Washington and Oregon State, just as strong as his 59 winner last night. And he happened to be on the Milwaukee Bucks. So if you've been watching the videos, you know I've told you that, to me, Delaney, one of my good friends here at the site, he says with sarcasm dripping. Let me just wipe that. Very embarrassing. Delaney, when he and I have been on the same side of a game over the past month and a half, going into last night, 0-4. 0-4. It's like the kiss of death. He, of course, will say, I'm the kiss of death towards him. I blame him entirely. Last night, I released Milwaukee, well, early in the day, and then I come back to the site later and I see he has a big play on Milwaukee, Philadelphia. I'm going, oh my God, please don't let him be on the Bucks. But he was on the Bucks and we actually were on the right side. It just shows you great minds think alike. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, that's what he's got going here for him tonight. Want to talk about Jeff Benton. Jeff, dating back the past 2 seasons, 84-61 college basketball run. $10 bettors have won $8,200 in that stretch tonight. 40-dime winner number 2 in a row. ACC showdown between Duke and Miami of Florida. Had a 30-dime winner last night in the ACC. Wake Forest outright over NC State. And his last 40-dime winner happened to be St. John's, outright over DePaul on Saturday. Kudos going to Craig Davis. Barely won last night, but a win it was. Kansas getting the half-point cover at Kansas State. Craig today going for winning day number 6 in a row with his 30-dime, 20-point blowout. He had a winner on Texas as a road dog against Oklahoma on Monday night. And, of course, on Sunday, had his biggest play of the season, 100-dime winner number 7 out of 8, his playoff teaser of the year on Atlanta and Baltimore. And finally, I need to talk about Shawn Michaels. Shawn, who has just had that phenomenal run in the NFL with 100-dime plays over the past 4 years, going 29-12 with them. Well, today, highest-rated college basketball play of his career. In fact, it's only the 11th ever 100-dime college basketball play of his career. It's his college hoops blowout of the year. He says his home team wins by 13 points. Listen, he has had 2 other 100-dime plays so far this season. He has won them both. The first one was back on December 22nd. He had Miami of Florida. Said they would win by 15 points on the road at Hawaii. Bingo. They won by exactly 15 points. This past Saturday, he had his 100-dime revenger of the year. He said this road team would win by 17 points. Oops. St. Joe's beat Penn by 20. Easily covering the 12.5-point spread, and this play is just as strong as those two, just as strong as those NFL 100-dime plays, of which he's 29-12 the past 4 years, just as strong as his 100-dime football teaser winner. His 4th straight 100-dime football college teaser winner when he gave you Oregon in the under against Kansas State in the Fiesta Bowl. So again, 100-dime college blowout of the year, the 11th ever 100-dime play of his career in college basketball. Now listen, guys, today, your promotion, I'll get to your free picks in just a moment, is something I haven't done, I think, since last March, in fact. And I like doing it generally right in that little window before, after the conference championships games and before the Super Bowl is being played. It's a buy 1 week of any handicapper's service and get a week of another handicapper of equal or lesser value absolutely free. And I'll explain the details here in a moment. But the reason I like doing it now, in that window between the end of the conference championships and the Super Bowl, is it's time for you guys to make a decision who you're going to start playing and following in college basketball. I just gave you some hot handicappers. Delaney, hot in every damn sport. Benton, incredible run in college basketball. Craig Davis, incredible run in all sports. Chris Jordan, same thing. But now's the time to take a sampling and take a look at who's doing extremely well. Because, listen, I think a mistake that a lot of gamblers make is that they stop playing from the Super Bowl till March Madness starts. What? You think the games are easier to win in March Madness during the tournament than they are in the middle of February? Wrong. The lines are much easier, much less sharp, much easier to find somebody on a bigger card in February than it is come tournament time. Not to say guys don't win in the tournament time, but you're missing 5-6 weeks of action where you could be making money before even the college conference tournaments start. So this gives you an opportunity to taste, to sample other handicappers. And here's how it works. Again, let me use Scott Delaney for an example. Scott Delaney, and this applies to 1 week packages by any handicapper at the site. Scott Delaney, 1 week of his service is $279. And I told you how much money these guys have held the past 2 weeks. Delaney's $10 followers have won $2,900, okay? So 7 days of his service costs $279. If you want the plays of another handicapper, 1 week of their service here, you can go, let's say, for example, I'll use Craig Davis. Craig Davis, 1 week of his service is $199. You could buy a week of Scott Delaney's service, get a week of Craig Davis's service, $199 worth of action for free. Again, buy 1 week of any handicapper service, get a week of another handicapper service of equal or lesser value, absolutely free. And all you have to do is you buy the one handicapper, then you send an email to customer service and let them know who the other handicapper is, and they will add their service at no charge to your account for 7 days free. And FYI, let me just make sure you understand one thing here, and I'll give you a quick little story. A couple hours ago, my fireplace had died a couple months ago, right? It took 2.5 months to get this little company to come out and take a look at my fireplace. Needed all this, blah, 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 needed some work and stuff. It was like $311. They billed me, and I thought, hey, the guy was here a couple hours. He had to replace a thermocoupler, blah, blah, blah. But the damn thing works. I was overjoyed. Today, a week after the guy has been at my house, I get a call from this company saying, hey, we made a mistake on the bill. We overcharged you by $68.41. I need your MasterCard in order to give you a refund. I got nothing on my bill. The math adds up perfectly. They did an internal review. They found that they overcharged me. And I'm thinking, wow, in this day and age, that is a shocker. You know it as well as I do. The point of this story is that every single one of these 7-day packages on the site cost the same that they did yesterday, cost the same that they did last week. This isn't one of these phony offers where I went to the site and inflated everybody's prices as a money-making effort. It's the same goddamn price as it was a week ago. Listen, I know how these guys in the 800 services do it, okay? The dinosaurs, how they rape you and rob you and steal your money. Yeah, they would do those type of things. I don't play those games. And if you don't know it by now, the hell with you. That's all I got to say to you. I tell you exactly as it is. The prices here today are the same as they were yesterday, same as they were a week ago. Some of these guys' 7-day prices haven't changed in 2 years, okay? There you go. Buy one handicapper's plays for a week. Get the plays of a second handicapper for a week. They run concurrently of equal or lesser value. Just send an email after making your initial purchase to customer service. Give them about 5-10 minutes, and they'll add the plays to your site. Okay, or to your account. Let me get to your free picks here today. First game, I'm going to go with NC Charlotte in double revenge at home against Xavier. Now, Xavier, entered Atlantic 10 play with a 4-game losing streak, and since then they've been gangbusters, winning 4 in a row. NC Charlotte, very impressive gaudy record, 15-3 straight up, 3-1 in A10 play. But listen, they haven't played anybody. I mean, a couple times they played decent teams like Miami of Florida. They got hammered. They just lost by 20-some points at Richmond last Saturday. The opponents that they have played this season, they have an RPI of like 191. I should say the 15 teams that they've beaten this year have an RPI of 191. There's like 340-some teams. I mean, so that just shows you how bad the quality of competition they have played, this being the NC Charlotte. And they're a very young team. They have 7 of their 10 rotation players, either freshmen or sophomores. But I think this is one of those games that you've got to show a little faith in NC Charlotte despite who they played this season, because I don't believe Xavier is that good despite the 4-game winning streak, despite their 4-0 start in Atlantic 10 play. So I'm going to go with them, NC Charlotte here at home. Line was 3, it's up to 4, but I think NC Charlotte is a good play here in double revenge. Hey, look, there are 2 losses this year. They there are 3 losses this year. They lost to Miami of Florida, got hammered by Richmond. They lost by 3 to Florida State. There's worse things in the world. Let's see if they're worth something. I think they are here this evening. So that's going to be the first free selection. The other free play, I'm going to go with the Brooklyn Nets. Um, as I mentioned earlier, PJ Carlesimo since taking over for Avery Johnson, and yet they haven't removed the interim tag because, it's like, what do they want? PJ Carlesimo's team to win 20 of their first 22? Well, hell, they've already won 11 of the first 13 games they've played under him. They've covered 7 of their last 9. They just beat the Knicks in a big revenge spot on Monday. They travel to Minnesota tonight, and granted, they suck in Minnesota. They're 4-17 lifetime at Minnesota. They've lost 6 of the last 7 games in the series, but this Minnesota team is just injury riddled to the max. I mean, you already know they're without Kevin Love, but I mean, they're missing a couple of key reserves. Their starting center is out. He's been out for the past couple games as well. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games. They've only covered 3 times in their last 16 games. Could it be a trap with this line at only 5? I mean, I know that the Nets have never fared well at Minnesota, but I'm looking at the 5 and I'm thinking, why isn't Brooklyn laying 7? So that was enough reason for me to lay off the game here tonight, but I still am willing to take a shot with the Nets as your free play along with NC Charlotte. Well, that'll do it, guys. Best of luck to y'all. Take advantage of the buy 1 week, get 1 week free of an equal or lesser priced handicapper. You know all the details. Good luck to y'all, and I'll catch you again come tomorrow.